Hey everyone, greetings from Brno, here in South Moravia in the Czech Republic. I hope everyone is still managing through this quarantine, is staying sane, and is drinking plenty of Moravian wine, of course. If you ever need recommendations, you know who to turn to, just shoot me a message. I'm always happy to tell you what to drink and where to buy it. And if you have not been following me on social media yet, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. I've been doing these amazing live interviews with winemakers and those involved in the wine industry in South Moravia because I'm just curious by nature and I want to learn about what this region has to offer, of course, in terms of wine. And I'm thrilled that these winemakers and wine professionals trust me with their story and trust me with their wines. And I'm happy to communicate all of this to you so everyone can learn what this region has to offer. And so for today's video, I'm excited to talk about sparkling wine today. This is a topic I have not spoken about on my videos. And so there's a ton of sparkling wine in this region and I have to showcase it, of course. And so today I'm showing two sparkling wines that could not be more different, but they are both made using the same grape variety. I love showing contrast. I love comparative tastings. And so I figured, why not show sparkling wine made from Riesling? So today's video is going to feature a pétillant naturel, Petnat, and a traditional method sparkling wine from Riesling. So talking a little bit about Riesling. So Riesling is a Germanic grape. So its origins come from Germany. And this is a grape that is world renowned for its prestige and power in the vineyards. So Riesling is a grape that's mid-ripening, meaning that you can leave Riesling on the vine until mid-autumn, like November, and still have great acidity levels in the grape. So Riesling has a way of keeping these high sugar contents in the grape throughout the growing season and maintaining acidity. So you can make these wines that are age-worthy, that can really age for decades. A few months ago, I had a 1979 Riesling. So the aging potential for this grape is enormous, particularly when grown in a cool climate like here in South Moravia. So South Moravia, Eastern Europe, Central Europe, you've got a cool continental climate, you've got fantastic old limestone soil, and you've got winemakers who know how to work with Riesling. So Riesling grows in really tightly packed clusters, and so it can be susceptible to fungal disease and mildews in the vineyards. So it needs great aeration on the vine, it needs less leaves surrounding the clusters, and it needs a long hang time. So with Riesling, I'm so excited that South Moravia is experimenting with making these sparkling versions of it because of that inherent acidity. You need acid when you're making sparkling wine. And so these winemakers know how to work with it and know how to maneuver the grape to show its true variety character, its fruity style, and its ageability. So going into the first sparkling Riesling today, I'm showing Petnat, pétillant naturel, made from Petr. So Petr is the winemaker here. His winery is Vinařství Mikulčice. It's located in Slovatska, near the border of Slovakia. So Czechoslovakia at one point until the early 90s was one country. After that split, obviously, we are now in the Czech Republic and Slovakia is its own country. But at one point, the two countries were united. And so this region, Slovatsko, maintains its name because of its proximity to the Slovakian border. So Petr makes organic wine in South Moravia. He's got 11 hectares of organic vines in the Slovatsko region. He's been making wine since 2006, and you can actually buy his wine in the US. So Peter Murata does export his wine through Jenny and Francois importers. Jenny and Francois, a fairly popular company in the US that imports natural wines, mainly from France, but also Eastern and Central Europe. You can even buy this wine in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's right. So contact Seaboard Wine, contact your local retail shop. Sour Grapes is the distributor that brings in Jenny and Francois. So you might be able to scoop up a bottle if they have it in stock. So check it out. But talking a little bit about Petnat. This is a style of sparkling wine that since the mid-90s has catapulted in popularity. So Petnat, or as it's known in France, méthode ancestrale, this is one of the first ways of making sparkling wine. So you have your grapes, you start fermenting that juice. The difference is the first fermentation does not finish. So in today's world of modern winemaking, you have your base wine, your first wine that you're making. And like I said, the fermentation has not stopped. There is still active yeast. There are still sugar left in the wine, but the wine goes directly from tank to bottle. What that does, any of the yeast that's still active and actively eating those sugars and releasing carbon dioxide gets trapped in the bottle. So you have a little crown cap on here. If you ever buy Petnat, it will be topped off with a crown cap. But you have a sparkling wine that is a little bit cloudy. It might have a slight yeasty nose to it. It might have some residual sugar in it, and it has a low alcohol content. So these are sparkling wines that are refreshing, low alcohol, really kind of fun, uncomplicated ways of enjoying sparkling wine. I actually made the comparison last night, enjoying a Petnat, thinking like this is like drinking beer, but wine. And because it has that carbonation, but it's not as finished as a wine, the fermentation hadn't finished, so there's still a slight yeastiness, but it's refreshing and thirst quenching. And we had it with some Indian food, and it was just amazing, the pairing between the two. You have a slight sweetness on that Petnat as well. And so you have this acid sweetness balance with a little bit more complexity like a wine, but at the same time, it's not that complicated. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beverage that you can pop open at a barbecue or with some spicy food. I think it's a fantastic pairing. So going into Peter Murata's Riesling Petnat today, 80% Riesling, 20% Welch Riesling. And the color on this is intense. So it's cloudy. There's still a little bit of yeast in here. Peter Murata does disgorge his wine, meaning most of the yeast sediment is ejected before bottling. There is about 12 grams of residual sugar in this wine, so there is a slight fruitiness and sweetness on the palate. However, it is not sweet. There's plenty of acid in this wine, so it's not cloyingly sweet. It's not this sticky, sweet mess that you can get with maybe like a sweeter Lambrusco or something. This is for me, it still tastes dry. There's plenty of acid to help cleanse out any of that residual sugar. So the wine has a lemon color to it, kind of like yellow grapefruit color to it. And the nose still smells like Riesling. It's green apple and floral, and it's got some stone fruit like peach and apricot, like apricot skins. And lemon notes to it as well. And there's a slight yeasty note to it. There's still a little bit of yeast left in this wine, so I think that slight bready character is still coming through. But it's just so refreshing. Really high acid. A lot of that green apple kind of mallet character is coming through too. It's tart. It's like biting into an underripe pear. You get plenty of acid. It's really juicy acidity. But like I said, it's an uncomplicated way to enjoy sparkling wine made from Riesling. I think it's fascinating that the winemakers here have taken hold of this Petnat kind of movement. There's a lot of opponents to Petnat and a lot of proponents of Petnat. Like I said, I'm kind of on the fence between the two. I like both styles, but I can appreciate this refreshing low alcohol alternative to sparkling wine. And when done, when there's plenty of fruit and plenty of acid, I think this wine would be really perfect for a barbecue or a picnic. And so easy to open. All you need is a bottle opener. So fantastic and exciting to see that South Moravia is so innovative in making delicious, refreshing Petnat. So hats off, Petter. Your wine's pretty rad, and I'm happy I saved it from last night's virtual wine tasting. Petter Murata participated in a virtual wine tasting last night with Neshbor and Ryzlink winery. And I actually held this bottle aside. I wanted to show it on today's video, and I'm so glad I did. It's so refreshing, and I think it shows great contrast, of course, with the wine I'm about to show next. So this is Proqin winery from Martin Proqin winemaker. This is his Riesling Sekt. This is Stephanus. It's a Latin name meaning first son. So Martin Proqin has been making sparkling wine in the method traditionnelle, or champagne method, for over 10 years. He and his brother started Proqin winery as a way to show that South Moravia can make fantastic, high-quality sparkling wine just like France. So South Moravia lies in the 49th parallel, latitudinal parallel, just like Rennes in Champagne. And so we can have access to these great cool climate varieties like the Pinot Noir family, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, as well as Riesling, which grows also in cool climates. And so what I appreciate with Martin Proqin and his brother Camille, what Martin believes is making high quality sparkling wine that has plenty of maturation period before the sale, meaning this wine sees 9 months in barrel when maturing in barrel, and then after barrel maturation, when the wine is put into bottle for the secondary fermentation, it spends 24 months in bottle. So you're looking at almost 3 years of bottle maturation and barrel maturation before he releases it for sale. So this wine is fully matured. What I also appreciate is that everything is done on site. So Martin's winery, Proqin winery, is located in Velké Nemčice. He bottles everything on site. So he has his own bottling line for sparkling wine, which is kind of expensive and kind of a pain in the butt to have. To be quite honest, it's a very difficult process to make sparkling wine. And so I have so much respect for what they're doing down there. He makes a huge range of sparkling wine, between 12 to 15 different styles, from dry to demi-sec. And he makes something for everyone, which I really appreciate. And so Martin Proqin, in addition to making these fantastic sparkling wines, he's also a sabrage master, and he has this sabrage school where you can go and learn how to saber a bottle. So sabering a bottle involves taking a sword or a saber or some kind of device. You can use a bottle or a glass, and you actually slice open the neck of the bottle so it makes a really clean cut and ejects the cork out. And it's done in celebration. It's done as a kind of way to open a great bottle of sparkling wine in a fantastic way. And his sparkling wine is just, it's so finessed and so unique. And I'm so glad that he took the time to talk with me on Monday on my live chat to explain a little bit more about his intentions with the winery. So going into his Riesling Sekt, his Stephanus from Vinařství Proqin, the wine is pale lemon color, great perlage, great bubbles on here. I poured it a few minutes ago, and it's still showing that persistent bubble on there, really fine, tiny bubbles, which is a sign of great winemaking. The smaller the bubble, the finer the bubble, the better the wine. So when you're opening your sparkling wine, if you see these tiny bubbles coming up in a really slow but methodical way, you know you're drinking really good juice. but I love his expression of Riesling. So you have this great green apple, citrus aroma to it, lots of stone fruit. There is a slight bready, kind of doughy character to it, but this is more fruit driven. This wine only has a 3-gram dosage, so you're looking at still a dry style of sparkling Riesling. This is not a sweet style of Riesling. This is still dry. But by using these high acid grapes like Riesling, you can really craft a beautiful style of sparkling wine right here in South Moravia. So much more body to the Proqin winery, more medium plus body, still high acidity, but it's showing this really nice honeyed note, like peaches and sweet honey. But the wine is still not sweet. I say sweet honey, but there's so much acid on this that it's counterbalancing that 3-gram dosage on there. So you're getting a wine that's really well balanced, that shows a really nice moussey bubble on the mid palate and a long finish. So both of these wines, like I said, are made from Riesling, but done in totally different styles and for different occasions as well. So you've got the Petnat that you can pop open with friends midday, have with some sandwiches out in the picnic. You can have it with barbecue, with Thai food, like I said. It's an uncomplicated, refreshing, sparkling way to enjoy Riesling. Or for your more formal occasion, you can enjoy Proqin Winery's Riesling Sekt that shows more of a finesse in bottle maturation and barrel maturation, more complex on the body and the palate. And you can certainly store this wine for the next 10 years in your cellar. It will only get better. Whereas with the Petnat, better to buy it, pop it open, enjoy it sooner than later. But what I love about this region is the wide range of styles that you get when enjoying wine, when enjoying something like Riesling. I think this region is just fascinating, and I'm so excited to be in the middle of it all before everyone knows about South Moravia. I'm glad that I get to be here, have feet on the ground, and get to enjoy sparkling Riesling made from Peter Marada and Martin Prokesh. So cheers to Riesling, cheers to sparkling wine in South Moravia. I hope everyone can get your hands on one of these bottles. Try both, open them both, check it out. Have your own comparative tasting at home. So cheers to South Moravia and to Riesling. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the weekend. Cheers.